Rob Star Gang, what up? What up? Thank God it's Friday, man. Thank God it's Friday. Shout out to everybody already coming in. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming through. Oh, are we live on X? Is it going straight to X now? It is. About time. About time. I don't have to reshare it, which is crazy because normally I have to like reshare it. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. I don't know why I have to do that, but now it's starting to work again. So shout out to everybody on X. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, we got some news and updates, man. We're gonna talk about some combine stuff. We're gonna talk about, of course, some other news that needs to be discussed about Andy Dalton and Na'Shawn Robinson. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to be talked about. To be honest with you, especially going around with now you got this whole brand new cap space that's now set around the league. The salary cap has changed, which we've seen now. We're going to talk about the two linebackers that I am obviously in love with, especially with the fact that we met with them. So we're obviously, you can see that's what it's also about. And there's also ways that we can really create some spending power this offseason because we're truly going to need it, especially according to Joe Persons of The Athletic. I saw him tweet out that with this new cap space, we're only going to be at like right now. I think we're right now at 10. Even once it lands, it was something crazy. Let me pull it up. Yeah, right here. And I'm going to pull it up real quick. Let's just go ahead and dive into that. I want to talk about the cap space first. Okay. I want to talk about the cap space first because this is very important now that we're talking about it right now. This is very important right here. As you can see, so 2026 will jump to 2022 million per club, so which means 301.2 million. Okay. And add in another 77.6 million in benefits, and that's 378.8 million per club in player spending. So a lot of growth there. That we got like that's crazy because the 2026, I just can't believe how massive we've gotten. I mean, we've jumped from, I think, 2022 to now $100 million in cap space. You know, that's a $22 million jump. But and I think I saw a fun fact that it's increased every year since like 2013. And when 2013, it just sat at 123 million. The growth of the NFL obviously isn't surprising to me, right? Because the NFL just continues to print money and teams continue to just get more flexible, at least in theory. I mean, what the cap increase does mean is that before the league finalized the number over the cap was projected slightly, I think at a higher cap. I think it was like 303 million when I looked at it for the over a cap before they finalized this. And now we're expected to have, it says that he says we're estimated 10.3 in space per over the cap. But I was told that we are expected to have, at least from other reports I've seen, 12.5 in cap space. So I don't know if Joe Person's right or the other reports I've seen are right. But now the official ceiling came in, 2.3 million lower, and that space shrinks accordingly. So I think that's why now we're seeing that we're currently sitting at 10.3 in the available cap space before any roster moves are made. All right. So if we're doing the math, and that's what Joe Persons is saying. So I got a little confused there, but that's not a lot of room to maneuver, especially for us who we're like trying to look for upgrades, right? There's multiple areas that we're looking for upgrades, and it's also not the final picture, in my opinion. I think that we're definitely going to be looking to make some moves, obviously, to move this cap right? We got to move the cap some way, somehow. We got to move the cap some way, somehow. What's this? I'm going to go live on TikTok. Why not? We're going to set up TikTok live real quick. We're going to set up in a TikTok real quick. Should have done that earlier. But again, so it's crazy because now, like, just how much the cap space has maneuvered is just wild to me. It's wild to me how much that the cap has maneuvered, to be honest with you. In so many ways, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. The Carolina Panthers can look to obviously create some. They're going to probably look to create some cap, more space. I mean, there's multiple ways that they can do it, right? Especially with this now. There's multiple ways that they can do it. One way is, of course, with the trade with A'Shawn Robinson, right? There's multiple cuts, right? I mean, the guys that I'm looking at, there's 4 names that stand out as potential guys that I think that we could end up, getting rid of. I think number one. Oh, well, that was fun. Fix that real quick. I think number one is A'Shawn Robinson. Jeez. Okay, there we go. But cuts are mostly straightforward options. I mean, the 4 names, when we look at this now, if we're only projected 10.3 million in space, if we're estimated that now, you have to look at defensive tackle A'Shawn Robinson as a cut candidate. You got to look at Andy Dalton as a cut candidate, or Tommy Tremble, or Pat Jones, right? I mean, or obviously A'Shawn Robinson's. We saw the announcement today that they're going to let him. They're going to let him not just walk, but they're going to let him seek a trade. So if they let him seek a trade, great. We'll see where he goes. I don't know what you can get out of him. I mean, if you trade him, because if we go look at the over the cap and we go over to A'Shawn Robinson, you go over to A'Shawn Robinson, you cut him, you're dead money in $2 million. Okay. You cut and you set your cap savings, you save 10. All right. You trade him pre-June 1st. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you cut him or you trade him, you're going to save the same amount of money. You're going to take a $2 million dead cap and you're going to trade him, and you're going to save 10 million. So it's really up to them. I mean, with the same thing with even with Andy Dalton, I don't even know what you're going to be able to get for an Andy Dalton. I don't even know what you're going to get for an Andy Dalton, because we go look at Andy Dalton. His contract's not the biggest in the world. You cut him, you take a bigger dead cap hit than you do in savings. So it really doesn't make sense to cut him. The trade makes more sense. I mean, you save money in the dead cap end, but your cap savings is a lot higher. Your cap savings is a lot higher. Your dead money is going to be at 3.6 million, whereas cap savings you're going to be at 2.1. So Dalton makes sense. I think another guy that makes sense is Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble makes a guy that I don't know if you trade him. I mean, you cut him, you save $2 million, you get dead money, you get $2 million in dead money, which sucks, but you save $2 million. And then another one was for me, I mean, DJ Wanham's also a guy I've kind of been looking at as well. But his contract really isn't that big. I mean, DJ Wanham, I mean, they're probably going to let him walk anyways, I think. Most likely. You know, Rico Daddle's gone. I mean, Rico, I see your question in there. Rico Daddle's not coming back. So obviously, Dan Morgan did say that it's the door's open for him to come back. I doubt that he's coming back. We'll see. But I doubt it. I doubt he's coming back. I think that ship has sailed, obviously. Pat Jones was another guy that I was looking into. I mean, you cut him, you're putting yourself in 5.3. You trade him, you put a dead money in 3.6, cap savings, you're saving like 6.5. So, and here's the thing. And even when we were talking about Andy Dalton, earlier, Andy Dalton is now one of those guys that basically Dan Morgan has now came out and said, kind of pumped the brakes on the trade buzz around it. If we go and look what we saw yesterday, which I tweeted about it. Let me go to Adam Schefter real quick. Yeah. The sound, the background noise. Just go ahead and do it. What are you doing? I'm about to ask for people. Is the background noise going to kill them? Are you really about to come over my live stream and ask these people that? I'm contemplating because you're acting like it's. Well, is that what you're going to do right now? I might. Crazy, man. Crazy work over here from the wife. Crazy work. Sorry, guys. I have to use a printer. My wife says she needs to use a printer. So if you hear anything in the background. Anyways, Dan Morgan says he's going to pump the brakes. Even though we've been getting calls about Andy Dalton for a potential trade, despite the headlines, apparently we're not shopping it. Andy Dalton, yes, is the backup quarterback. At least not right now. It sounds like they're taking calls, but it doesn't sound like they're legitimately, it doesn't sound like that they're budging right now. I mean, teams are interested in trading for him. They reportedly came shortly after General Manager Dan Morgan's, speaking from the 2026 NFL scouting publicly, acknowledged that the team wants to add competition behind Bryce Young. And of course, there's been those reports that people were coming out saying, well, why don't you go after Anthony Richardson because he fits the mold of what Dan Morgan's looking for. I mean, Dan Morgan is looking for a young developmental quarterback that they can put behind Bryce Young. Right? That's the fit. Jim Perry, thank you so much for the I'm not even sure what that was, a heart me or whatever. Jim Perry, appreciate you. Panthers for life, appreciate you. Naturally those two things are connected, but if you watch Dan Morgan on the Pat McAfee show, he made it clear that the chatter doesn't match the reality behind the scenes. It doesn't match the reality behind the scenes of what he said. Because, and he told Pat McAfee, they haven't had talk to any teams about a trade. Teams have just called up saying they're interested. Right? That's all they've done. So it doesn't mean that the door is locked. I think just Dan has said that if a legitimate opportunity came up, he'd handle it the right way with Andy Dalton involved. And so basically came out and said, if the possibility did come up, I would talk to Andy, give him the option of exploring a trade. And I think that's kind of the same thing that happened with A'Shawn Robinson here. Morgan also reiterated what he said earlier in the week, that the Panthers want to change that profile of the backup quarterback spot. And for now, though, this is more flexibility to me. Dalton is, he's coming into his 16th NFL season, guys. Like the upcoming year could be his final season of his current, NFL career, not just his contract. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's 38 years old. He's firmly in that veteran bridge phase of his career where he's just a bridge quarterback, not someone the Panthers are going to just actively build around. Okay, that's not what they're going to do. All right. I mean, he's only been limited here since he's gotten here. I mean, he had one start when Bryce Young got injured against the Buffalo Bills, and we know how that looked. We got absolutely the brakes beat off of us by the Buffalo Bills. He only completed 16 of 24 passes. I think he had over 170 yards, and I know he had a pick. So I think the thing with Andy Dalton is that teams may be calling, but the Panthers were just not pushing him out the door, right? I think, again, Dan is just waiting for something that will materialize. I think it's just an open discussion. Until then, I think Dalton will remain exactly where he's been, which is basically an experience insurance policy behind Bryce Young, right? So that's another guy that I thought they could get some money off of, but we'll see. So Sonny Styles news is just getting our hopes up. We'd have to give a BY9 type haul to get at top 5 to have a chance. I mean, Double OK, we'll see. He might go top 10. It does. But the problem is in the top 10 right now, who needs a linebacker? Who's going to go linebacker there? We'll see. I'm not saying we're going to get Sonny Styles. The thing that sucks was we didn't even get to see CJ Allen. That's the thing that sucks, because that's my other pick. Because I know April Reese is going to be gone. Sonny Styles is going to be gone, it seems like, at this point. We'll dive more into that, though, Double OK. Nobody in human brain is trading Andy Dalton. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a couple teams I wouldn't be surprised that trade for Andy Dalton. Honestly, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. I would not be surprised if somebody like the Jets came in and got him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals wanted to bring him back to be the backup of Burrow. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings wanted to bring him in as well. What's up, Zach? We will hype Clemson tonight, sir. Yes, indeed. I only hype up Clemson players, only certain Clemson players. And there's only 2 that I hype up. Well, I did give April Reese some hype as well. But man, talent is talent, man. I'm a Gamecock fan, but I'm not going to sit here and blatantly just downgrade all these Clemson players just because I'm a Gamecock fan. Rock, I understand. It's like against our religion. I know. It's against our religion. I know. Good thing is I don't believe we have to reach for a good linebacker. And that is true too, Poppin. We don't. I don't think we're honestly, I still don't think we're going to go linebacker in the first round. I think at this point, it can go four ways. It could go edge, it could go linebacker, it could go left tackle, or it could be the best player on the board. Like legitimately, who's ever the best player is. I could also see them trade back as well because of how deep this draft class is from an edge rusher and a linebacker standpoint. What if they want to double up? What if they want to double up on linebacker? I wouldn't be surprised if they trade back and maybe they get who they want in the first round and then they trade back and whoever is going to be there, like let's say they trade with the Browns at 24. They trade back with the Browns at 24. They get some extra draft capital, and then they go and get Jack Golday in the second round, and then they go get Jacob Rodriguez maybe in the third. Something like that. Or Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis is projected in that third or fourth round range. I mean, you can move. Again, I would not be surprised of anything at this point. And still, I can't narrow it down because I haven't seen the free agency either. I mean, and I won't really know until, like, listen, love the fact that we're taking these interviews with Sonny Styles. I love that we're sitting down with a Jacob Rodriguez, but we have no idea where they're going to go. We won't really truly know how they can go about it from a game plan standpoint or a strategy standpoint until I think free agency is over with. Truly. Because what if they go out and get a Bradley Chubb? What if they go out and get a Bradley Chubb and then you got Pat Jones coming back, plus you got Princely Mamuelin and Nick Scordon? You don't have to draft an edge rusher then. You know what I mean? And again, let's get back to the cap space real quick, though. I'm going to share you a few things that I think, though, that nobody's talking about the way that you can. Here's the thing. Carolina can save like up to $54 million just with a few of these moves. Number one, Derek Brown. I know this sounds crazy, but if you restructure Derek Brown, okay, you restructure Derek Brown. In a basic restructure, you're basically in a restructure. You're converting salary, okay, into signing bonus. So it creates immediate cap relief without removing the talent from the roster. Again, I think that your two highest players should be restructured. I think Derek Brown and J.C. Horn. You could restructure them both. Because after those two restructure, you're already in much better shape. And you haven't weakened the roster. Because look, you restructure zero dead money on Derek Brown here. And you save $11.6 million. You save $11.6 million. And then guess what? You go over to J.C. Horn. You restructure him. Boom. 2026 season, you save 12.3. All right, boom. So there you got it. So you just basically saved 12. You saved 12.3. Let me write this shit down. I'm gonna write it down. So let's take a little note here. Make a little side note. Oh, no, we better save that. I don't want to write on that. I don't write on that either. We can write on this. Okay. Let's just say this. So, JC, you saved 12.3 in a restructure. Okay. Let's go back to Derek Brown real quick. Derek Brown Let's break this down, man. Let's break this down. Restructure, 11.6. Restructure. All right. Basically, so there you go. You basically saved right there. That. Now, 2 cuts. I'm cutting Tommy Trimble. Okay. You cut him. You save $6 million in a cut. All right. But you take a $2 million dead cap hit, but still. All right. And then I'm cutting A'Shawn Robinson. Now, this one's a tough one. Not really. Because A'Shawn, and I hate that, AR, $10.5 million in a cut. And just in those 4 moves alone, you add it all up, 12.3, 11.6, 10.5, and $6 million. Those 4 moves alone, you're up $54.4 million. And you could opt, and one more I would add to a restructure, possibly, is Taylor Moton. Because you restructure him, you could add basically another $9 million. It's actually $8.9 million. Boom. There's some extra money right there. You know, and here's some other things you could do. All right. So we restructured Taylor Moton. Here's some other things you can do that you can save some money up. You can free some money up. You could extend Damian Lewis. So Damian Lewis, you extend him for $9 million. Or you extend him, you save $9 million. You know how much? You know who else you can extend as well? Mike Jackson. Boom. Guess how much you extend? You just saved Mike Jack. You just saved $3.2 million. All right. Now, some extra things you could, and again, I already said, now if you trade, now for Andy Dalton, you cutting him makes no sense. You really do want to trade him. If you trade him, though, so Andy Dalton in a trade, you save $2.1 million. All right. And then this one's going to suck, but you would have to cut, if you cut Bobby Brown III, if this is something they do, but it'd have to be post June 1st, they could save up $6.2 million. Again, none of these are mandatory. Basically, what that means is it's not technically it's a cut, it's technically a release. You save 6.2 in a release. So there are multiple ways that we can save a lot of money by restructuring, some cuts, some extensions, some trades, and even a release on the post June 1st. There is there is a lot of ways that you can manipulate the cap. Oh, nah, we got spreadsheets over here. Damn, I've been asleep, Clay. Charlie, no, you're good, brother. You're good. You're in the right place, though, man. Poppin', what was your question about void years? I apologize. When does free agency start? March 13th? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's March 13th. If I'm not mistaken, is it March 13th? Or is it March 3rd? NFL free agency starts March 11th. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate you. I knew it was close. It's like I always think it's like that around that. It's the second week of March. I know that. March 11th, though. So it does. It does start March 11th. So again, there's multiple ways we can save money, man. JC Horn restructure. Again, with the restructures, people got to realize this. When you restructure a player, people got to realize this. The simplest move on the board, in my opinion, is those restructures, whether it's JC Horn, Derek Brown, or Taylor Moton. Okay, well, whatever. A basic restructure, again, you are converting salary into a signing bonus. And basically what happens is then it creates immediate relief without removing the talent from the roster, okay? So both of those guys, I would say all those guys really are cornerstone players. But these types of restructures is both common and they're easy to execute, right? And after those restructures, you're already in much better shape. And you haven't weakened the roster at all. All right. Again, the cuts. The cuts to me, as we were talking about, A'Shawn Robinson or Tommy Tremble, those moves are more about value than a production, right? Because I don't think Tommy Tremble's a bad player. Don't get me wrong. But the savings outweighs the cost, especially for a team that needs flexibility. And I think for Robinson, who's a very useful defender, I think would be missed. He's also a rotational interior defensive lineman in a league where, edge pressure, which is what we lack in, matters more than ever now. So reallocating that $10.5 million towards an edge rusher could have a far bigger impact. And again, to me, it's not about losing A'Shawn. It's about using the money more effectively, right? So again, it just restructuring Derek Brown and JC Horn and you releasing Tommy Tremble and A'Shawn Robinson, you're jumping your available cap space just for this offseason to $54.4 million available to you. Just in those four moves. And then the other ones, like I said, Damian, if you want to go a little bit further with it, if Carolina wants to be more flexible, like I said, I think these are more flexible moves. You extend Damian Lewis, you extend Mike Jack, you trade Andy Dalton, and you release Bobby Brown III. And I think none of those are mandatory, right? Because they show just how much maneuverability exists in our front office if they choose to use it. That's what I'm alluding to. That's what I'm alluding to. We do that, then we're gearing up for a big free agency. One or two of those things you're saying will happen. I honestly think that what they will do is I think that they will they'll let A'Shawn Robinson obviously seek his trade, which they are doing. I think that they will get a trade. I honestly think they'll get a trade for Andy Dalton. He's a bridge quarterback, and there's teams out there that need him. Whereas we don't need him, and we're ready to move. I don't know if they're ready to move on, so to speak, but they want to bring in competition. He made that clear, right? So, it makes more sense to me. If you extend these guys, does this add more void years? We'll have to pay down the future, whether they're here or not. It's a good question. I'll have to do some more research on that, Poppin. I can't answer that right now. But that is a great question. I'll definitely have to look into that because I didn't on that. No, I'm gonna say no as of right now. Actually, let me do some research real quick because if I do it through, I'm gonna go over here, keep over the cap. So let's see what happens if let me see something here. So if I go to, for example, so if I go over here and I restructure, right? Let's see if there's anything here. Nope. Let's see if I go to Derek Brown and I restructure. Boom. Now what happens? Now what if I don't do anything? We just keep it at a cut, whatever. Does this do anything? Change down there? Nope. Valuation. Here we go. Okay. 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 So basically, my understanding is this, and I had to look it up, and I was looking at this as well for what Poppin is asking. Okay. So for what Poppin is asking, I'm not sure if that's what happened with Shaq, but basically, this is how it works. Now that I was kind of like looking at some of this stuff, it depends on how the extension is structured, so yes, it can add future money. You're paying whether the players on the roster or not. This is how it works, basically. So when you extend a player, teams often convert base salary into a signing bonus. They prorate that bonus over multiple years up to 5. If the contract includes void years, those years will exist only for the cap purposes, right? So automatically void, right? Accelerate any remaining bonus onto cap when they void or when players or when the player leaves. So if you add void years just to spread the money out, you're pushing the cap hits into the future. So which means you'll pay that money even if the player's gone. But not all extensions do this, right? An extension does not automatically mean void years, okay? It's just all about how it's structured, okay? So basically, teams can extend with real years only, keep bonuses smaller, and then you avoid the future dead cap if they want flexibility. All right. So void years are a choice, not a requirement. Why teams would do this, though, is that what it does is it'll lower the current year cap hit. And so then it creates this like short-term flexibility, useful if you're trying to compete now, right? That's what teams do normally. Like if you're an LA Rams, right? You're trying to do that now. That's what you're doing. See, the problem is though, when you do that, there is a risk, right? Dead cap later on. You're paying the players not on the roster, and then you're just kicking the can down the road. Okay. So if we do extend guys like Damian Lewis or Mike Jack, yes, the void years could be added, but if they don't have to be, it's all about how aggressive Dan Morgan wants to be with the future cap flexibility. So there you have it. That's a lot to take in. Okay. That's a lot to take in. Hopefully you got all that. Hopefully you got all that. I sounded like a fucking nerd. I sounded like a nerd. Just being honest. Sitting here talking about numbers. I should have been an accountant. At this rate, if I continue to study how cap space works, I might be. I'm good with math. But understanding how the cap space works in the NFL, that is a total different ball game. But we're getting there. Still learning. That's for damn sure. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do with Andy. Obviously, A'Shaun Robinson is able to seek a trade, so we'll see how that goes. And again, a lot of people were talking about the whole Anthony Richardson thing, which let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if I can find it, what he said on Anthony Richardson. I'm going to see if I can. Because Andy, basically, Dan Morgan said, like, basically shut it down. Okay. So even right here, Panthers Wire, but even the guys over there in Panthers on Tap came out with this. And I mean, yeah, man, like basically if you read this or probably read this article, he'll tell you what he said. But anybody who thought that Anthony Richardson trade talk at the combine, like if anyone was hoping that Carolina might try to circle back on this whole Anthony Richardson thing, because I know once people heard that they were going to trade or that Anthony Richardson was able to seek a trade or whatever, I know there was Panthers fans out there saying, go get him, go get him. And again, does he fit the mold of what Dan Morgan's looking for? Absolutely. Right? He was on the Pat McAfee show talking about this, right? And he was on the Pat McAfee show talking about a bunch of wide range of topics surrounding the roster, right? We were just talked about the A'Shaun Robinson thing, that Andy Dalton, he was talking about all that. The combine, the draft, free agency. He's talking about so many things. And I think that the whole Anthony Richardson thing got brought up because of the whole Andy Dalton drawing interest from other teams this week. But you know, Morgan did confirm that there was no trade discussions having taken place. And he wouldn't ignore the possibility if it came up. But Morgan also acknowledged that there's been obvious for a while that the Panthers want more juice behind the starting quarterback. And that comment opened the door, obviously, for Pat to go, well, what about Anthony Richardson? Let's go get him. He's 23 years old, checks every young athletic box. You know, and his future with Indianapolis suddenly appears uncertain. But Dan Morgan didn't hesitate when the idea floated around. Basically said, we're not trading. And I'm not giving away draft picks. We got to build through the draft. Fuck yeah. Absolutely. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. Okay? And so, here's the thing. If I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm praying to God that the Minnesota Vikings call my name so I can go compete with J.J. McCarthy. Because I would tell you right now, man, Anthony Richardson, I think there's so much untapped potential there. So much athleticism. I think the arm talent's there. I think the accuracy just needs to get better. I think the health needs to get better. I think the worth ethic needs to get better. I think he needs to get better at reading defenses. He's got all the tools, man. He just got to put it all together. And I think a guy like Kevin O'Connell could make it easy for him. I mean, shit, man. That he runs such an easy offense. I didn't see anything for JJ McCarthy that jumped me off the walls more than Anthony Richardson did. Anthony Richardson threw more passes in college football than JJ McCarthy did. Like, go watch JJ McCarthy in Michigan. He handed the ball off to Blake Corum and the other running back more oftentimes than not. Like, we got to stop this talk about JJ McCarthy. Like, if anybody thinks that JJ McCarthy is any good, you're delusional. You're delusional. JJ McCarthy has done nothing astronomical. He's young, needs time, but I'll give Andy for AR. I bet you would. I bet you would, Poppin. I wouldn't say no to it either. I wouldn't trade for anyone built through the draft. I told someone else JJ isn't that good, and they had a hissy fit. Oh, I'm sure I know who that is, Poppin. We can all take a guess on that. We can take a little gander on that. I mean, there again, you go watch his Michigan tape. I actually have tape on JJ McCarthy from Michigan. I mean, he handed the ball off to two guys, mainly. Harbaugh was running a ground and pound offense. All right, like he's not that good. I mean, Sam Darnold looked elite in that. Daniel Jones looked good in that offense. And those guys have struggled through years. Maybe JJ McCarthy is that exception. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe he's just a guy that's going to struggle until it takes to his fifth, sixth year. Who knows? But if I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm knocking Indy's door right now. And if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm hoping that the Vikings come get me. I can tell you that. Because that arm talent, and if Kevin O'Connell can unlock it, shit. You know how fun that offense would be? With an Anthony Richardson tossing to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Like, again, Richardson's situation in Indianapolis is murky at best right now anyways. Because Daniel Jones emerged as the Colts starter in 2025. Andy has now given him permission to seek that trade. And again, the production really hasn't helped his case. 15 career starts across 3 seasons. So it's basically an average of 5 games per season. And Richardson has completed only 50.6% of his passes. He only has 11 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. So there's also some familiar history here. What's up, Just Tacky? Richardson was taken 4th overall in that 2023 draft. 3 picks earlier, right? We selected Bryce Young at 1st overall. So Carolina passed on Richardson. And so based on Morgan's comments, they are interested in revisiting that decision now. The takeaway is simple, though. We may have opened the door to move Andy Dalton, but they do want to upgrade the backup quarterback position. So, but they don't want to do it at a cost of draft capital. So, I don't know. We'll see. If the Morgan plan remains clear and consistent, built through the draft, I think that they're going to go and take a guy like a Drew Allard, Taylon Green, or maybe a Garrett Nussmeier, or Cade Klubnik. Like, maybe that's where they go. Maybe that's where they go. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Let me get to some of these comments here. Good defense, great run game. That's all there was. That's all there was in Michigan, man. I don't think JJ again. If I am the Minnesota Vikings, I am calling Indy's number. I am calling Indy's number, and I'm like, what do y'all want for Anthony Richardson? Man, I do not want Sid the Sloth on this team, Carson Beck. I do not want him on this team if they brought him in. If anybody I want, Allard had a broken ankle, right? Allard only had a broken ankle. I thought it was an ACL tear, no? Was it let's see the injury. Fully recovered. He's throwing. Oh, broken left ankle. and required surgery. Okay, I thought it was worse than that. I thought it was an ACL, but my bad. You're right, Poppin. So, yeah, it was just a broken ankle. It was just a broken ankle. So yeah. I like Drew Allard, worth a late pick. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I like Drew Allard too. I mean, Drew Allard's a guy. I like Taylor Green as well. I mean, if you're going from a scout, I mean, from a scouting report, I think Drew Allard is one of those guys that you could take late. He's definitely a developmental quarterback prospect, that's for sure. I think he's got the prototypical traits. I think he's got the elite arm strength, right? Let's not forget, Drew Allard, ladies and gentlemen, was a potential first rounder. Like, let's not act like he wasn't. And now he's probably, depending on what he does, depending on what Drew Allard does, I mean, look, the kid says he thinks he has the best arm in the draft. I mean, it depends on what he thinks he does. He does, like at the draft, the combine. The combine's really going to boost his stock. You know, he's a day 2 or day 3 selection, but it can move up, right? But he is that prototypical size you're looking for if you're evaluating a quarterback. He's 6'5", between 235, 240, right? I think a lot of people think he has the strongest arm in this class. The only thing I have problem with him is the big time production. Like, if you evaluate him from a big time big game production, he lacks a signature win or sustained efficiency in those high pressure games. So, and there's times where I think also what's going to be the biggest thing for Drew Allard is his processing speed from an NFL standpoint. Like, he can be slow to work through his progressions, right? But the arm talent, the size, I think the touch and anticipation, the negative play avoidance, I think all that stuff is there, right? I mean, the kid can generate outstanding RPMs from throwing the ball with very little effort. And he can find the tight windows. He can hit every throw on the field. But again, there's just he has this erratic footwork. He's got the slow working through his progressions at times. But the big time moments, that's where Drew Allard, for me, I'm just like, where's that? Like, go watch his Penn State. Go watch him. Go watch him at Penn State. Like, and tell me what big game he had. Just Tacky, I don't add people onto my TikTok screen. Sorry, man. Sorry to disappoint. Carolina Panthers fan, keep pounding. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, let's get into some other news. Let's get into some more news, and then we'll dive into more of the NFL combine. We'll get into they met with Sawyer Robinson. What y'all think about that? They met with Sawyer Robinson. Speaking of a quarterback, what do y'all think about Sawyer Robinson? I'm interested in what y'all think. I'm going to tell you what I think. 6'4", 220. Completion percentage very low. Rating not that bad. 31 touchdowns though this year, 6th in the NCAA. He was 3rd in yards this past year. I'd like to see him put a little more weight on it, that 6'4" frame. I'd like to see him put a little more weight. I'd like for him to be that 235, 240 range. He's at 220 right now. I like to see the completion percentage get a little bit higher. The kid can rip it, though. He can hit it all the tight windows. He can challenge every level on the field. He's got great pocket navigation. He just has the natural feel moving through the pocket. Buy some time. Got great mobility. Not a primary dual threat, but he's a sneaky athlete, that's for sure. Great mental toughness. Evaluators have noted how his leadership is and how resilient he is. The only thing I got to say with him, though, from what I watched on film, his lower body footwork can become lazy, man. That's why you see a lot of the inaccurate throws when he's just off platform. Processing speed, that's another thing. It's just like he's heavily reliant on that first read targets, right? That's what he relies on. So he could struggle to work through his full field progressions. The kid's got a gunslinger mentality, I'll tell you that, because he led the NCAA into high turnover worthy play rates, and I think it was up in the 3% range. So a day 3 developmental prospect, that's for sure. That's for sure. He can drop it in a bucket. Listen, the accuracy is not an issue with him. It's not that. It's just when he's off platform, when he gets off his platform, and his lower body gets lazy because you can see it in his footwork. That's when those throws go crazy. That's when those throws go crazy. And sometimes he has another thing he does is he holds on to the ball too long. I've noticed that he's a little late on the trigger at times, but we'll see. There's a quarterback they met with, though. Let's get down into some nitty gritty, though. Let me get what Sonny Styles real quick. So let's talk about Sonny Styles. Because the Carolina Panthers met with him. Let's just go ahead and get that out there. Carolina Panthers met with him. They're obviously doing their homework on this linebacker class. I mean, the profile speaks for itself, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, fucking 6'5", same as Calvin Johnson. 244, 3 pounds lighter than Derrick Henry. Had a 43.5 vert, same as Nate Robinson's max vert. Ran a 4.46 40, same as Bijan Robinson, and 11'2" broad jump, same as Julio Jones. The dude was built in an absolute lab, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute lab. Now, I'm going to go to the Panthers breakdown real quick because I'm going to pull up the go over here because I'm going to pull up the visit. Who else they visit with? They visited with an edge rusher, Keldrick Folk. Save that. All right, so they met with Sonny Styles. You saw the measurements, okay? From the draft, the prospect everyone knows, and again, it's not hard to find praise for Sonny Styles. You turn on any draft show right now, you turn on any mock drafts, you listen to anyone in the league right now. This guy probably won the whole NFL combine from his measurable standpoint to even his performance at the combine. One of the best off-ball linebackers in this class. It's between him and Abriel Reese. But, a guy who had 83 tackles, 1 sack, a forced fumble interception, 3 pass breakups, 2025. Crazy thing is this is a guy who went from a former safety to linebacker who's got real coverage instincts. He's son of a former NFL linebacker, Lorenzo Styles Sr. Play caller on the national championship winning defense. So Styles checks off every box, right? And so they had a meeting. And again, obviously Styles wasn't interested in selling himself as a finished product. Instead, he went the opposite direction. I think that mindset matters, especially to teams like us. I think Styles openly discussed areas of improvement, specifically zone coverage consistency, ball disruption, pad level. He also acknowledged the while he feels routes well, the production hasn't fully matched his athletic ability. He knows his height and can work against him if his pad level rises. He's actively working to fix it. So that level of scouting on his own self, I mean, that's not common to come by from some of these players at the combine, right? But for someone, it's not accidental for a player to recognize his own flaws, right? But to just hear them say that, I think that goes a long way, right? Yeah, I mean, freaking Dr. Giroux put together Sonny Styles and his brother. Dr. Giroux put these boys together. And again, people are like, can we get him at 19? All I'm going to say is this. The meeting with Dan Morgan mattered. Okay. Him meeting with us wasn't just another box check interview. It was different because he noticed immediately. And because of just even this quote right here, he's, Dan Morgan being a former NFL linebacker, asking him questions that went beyond the surface level of football talk about eye progression, keys, reads, real, linebacker stuff. Morgan has been clear all offseason that he plans to attack this linebacker in both free agency and the draft, meeting with a prospect who not only understands the position, but can articulate his own weakness and growth and plan, which fits exactly what we are looking for and what we're trying to build. So the question is, of course, do you think Sonny Styles is coming here at pick 19? Number one, no. Sonny Styles, after his combine yesterday, is a top 10 pick, plain and simple. Possibly a top 5. I mean, I can see the possibility of him going top 5. You're going to have to trade up to go get him. I'm interested to see what CJ Allen does. Obviously, he's not participating in the combine, but I'm interested to see what he does at his pro day. I'm assuming that's what he's going for. They also met with Jacob Rodriguez. Which is another one, obviously a fan favorite. I'm a fan of Jacob Rodriguez as well. Obviously, they're continuing that thing. Rodriguez confirmed he met with Carolina both at the Senior Bowl and again at the Combine. So they've met twice now. So the interest is mutual. The reputation matters. So the Panthers aren't just dropping in and they're circling back. But what tells me about what our draft approach is here is that this isn't about chasing combine stars. Dan Morgan himself, downplayed the importance of workouts and noting that the Combine and Senior Bowl, don't move him much, right? The real value is in meetings and interviews and football intelligence, right? That lines up perfectly with players like Sonny Styles. I think it even lines up great with Jacob Rodriguez, right? We're clearly prioritizing football IQ guys, right? Accountability guys, positional versatility guys, leadership traits. Sonny Styles, in my opinion, too, Jacob Rodriguez checks all those boxes. I see what Zach is doing here. I like what Zach's doing here. Should we just put out? Should we just put Zach? Should we just bath mouth this guy so we can get him down to 19? Should we get some AI videos going? Should we get some AI videos going? Should we get some like AI videos of him like doing something? I don't know. Got to figure something out, Zach, to get him down there. So yeah, throw some slander. He's not that good. It's not that good. It's fucking scrub. He's a bum. Just no essay. Yeah, none of that. But we need something. We got to get him. We got to get him down there. I don't know what it would take for the Carolina to go get him. I couldn't tell you. It would probably be to go get a guy like Sonny Styles. You're going to have to probably give up a lot. You're probably going to have to give up a lot. Especially if it's a top 10 pick. You're probably, I mean, we can go even do a little quick mock, like a little mock. Let's go here. Let's share my screen real quick. Pull PFF. I mean, all right, let's start. All right, I'm going to pause it now. Where are we at? So we got Fernando Mendoza. We got Ruben Bang, Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs. Okay, let's just resume real quick. All right, boom, boom. All right, stop right there. See, I mean, look at that. Look, New York literally took him at 5. Literally took him at 5. If a team up gave us their 2026 first round for T-Mac, would you do Steve-O? He missed 2 tackles the whole season. Such a disgrace. There's no way the first 18 teams would. I know, Zach. I know. It's wishful thinking. Shout out to Steve-O, by the way, with that $1.99 donation. Appreciate you, Steve-O. It goes a long way, brother. All I got to say, though, is him going at 5, man, just just unbelievable. Just makes me feel dead inside looking at that. Makes me feel dead inside. I mean, yeah, I mean, the PFF's going to update it for sure. I wonder if they've actually even updated it. Let's see what their big board looks like now. No, they've updated it. Let's see where they got it at now. They've updated it. They updated it at 20. They updated it yesterday at 5:30. Fernando Mendoza. Okay, they're still keeping him at 1, but they got Ruben Bain at 2 now because Ruben Bain wasn't 2. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he was 2. I think Caleb Downs was 2. So Caleb Downs is 3. They got Jeremiah Love at 4 now. They got Sonny Styles at 5. Sonny Styles was not at 5. He was at like 15, 14. So they've definitely updated it. They got David Bailey at 6. They got Averill Reese at 7 now. Damn, they got Francis up at 8. Cardinal Tate at 9. They got Lemon at 10. They got Mansur Delane at 11. They got Jermon McCoy at 12. Caleb Banks at 13. Damn, they moved CJ Allen up. CJ Allen was like 26. They got Keldrick Folk at 15. Avion Terrell at 16. Cassius Howe at 17. Jordan Tice at 18. Akeem Massador. Now they got Akeem Massador at 19. They got Akeem Massador now at 19. Akeem Massador was like 33. Dylan Theinman, it was at like 40 something. Spencer Fano at 21 moved up. Peter Woods moved back actually. Peter Woods was like 19. Monroe Freeling, Denzel. Caden moved back as well. Caden was like 16. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, so they got Alabega. TJ Parker moved back to 27th. Emmanuel McNear Warren moved up. Kenyon Sadiq, he probably, ran a 4.4. A fucking tight end ran a 4.4, bro. That's wild. I mean, look, they've moved their whole draft board around. Look where Lee Hunter's at now. They got Lee Hunter at 33. They got KC Concepcion in 31. KC Concepcion was like 24. They've moved this draft board completely around. Look, they got R. Mason Thomas at 43. Anthony Hill Jr. at 44. Eli Stowers at 48. Eli Stowers moved up 9 spots. Where's Jacob Rodriguez? I wonder if they've moved him up now. Jake Golday, I think he's kind of been in the same spot. They moved up Derek Moore. Derek Moore was at like 60. Let's see if they moved up. Romello Heights right there. Damn. Did they push Jacob Robinson back on their board? Zachariah Branch, 78. I think Jacob Rodriguez stayed the same. Yeah, they've completely changed their board around, though. This is not the same board that they had before. All right, let's do a little bit more randomness. Let's see what happens. Fernando, Caleb, Ruben. Dude, that's the second time in the row now. All right, let's see if it does it again. Let's see if they go Sonny Styles again. I'm interested. For a third time's the charm. If they go 3 times in a row, that doesn't do my heart good. Oh. Now he goes number 2. 5. Shit. Damn, dude. Damn. Just a trade. All right. Let's do this. Let's enter real quick. I want to see just for the New York Giants perspective, if I gave you 19, how much would we have to go up? We would have to give them something. What do they need? How about I give you Xavier Legette? I still don't want him, even though he ran up more. I know, right? Charlie. The Jets drafted him. He's a bust. I actually think the Titans draft Sonny Styles. He can be Robert Sala's new version of Fred Warner. I know, dude. It probably something Tennessee would do too. I don't know though. All right, so let's see this. Here, I'll give y'all Xavier Legette. I'll give you this year's first and next year's first and Xavier Legette for that 5th. But you got to give me that 2nd round pick. That'd be lit. Would y'all do that? Would you give them this year's first, next year's first, and Xavier Legette for their 5th and 37th? Is that a fair trade? Let me see. Something. I'm gonna try something here. Let me find if it. We're gonna make up a fair trade here. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. All right. We would probably actually, you know what we would have to do, chat? Probably the cleanest and most realistic deal would probably this. Take Xavier Legette out. All right. We take Xavier Legette out. And honestly, that's probably the most realistic deal. Like we get the pick 5, and then we would have to give 1951 and a future first just to go get him. To be honest with you, they probably would. All those quarterbacks coming out next year. Just saying. I know, Rock. I know. What up, Eric Blair? Appreciate you becoming a member for 15 months. Shout out to him. Shout out to Eric for that. Appreciate you becoming a 15-month member. Appreciate you. I really do think they'd ask for more. I think this is what the fairest trade you would get. You give them 1951 and a future first. That's probably the most fair trade you can get. The only alternative I would say is if you keep 51, but then you'd have to give up 83 and 19 and 119. So you'd be giving up a lot just to move up to 5. I'm interested though. Let's go back to let's look at something real quick. I'm interested to see what the board falls though. I'm interested to see how the board falls. So let's see. Fernando, Caleb, Ruben, Jeremiah Love, okay, Sonny Styles, David Bailey, Carnell Tate, Averill Reese, Caleb Banks, okay. CJ Allen already gone. Keem Messidor. So what do you, I mean? So who's the next linebacker available? Anthony Hill at 44. Okay. I mean, and then what do I have left here? TJ Parker at 27. I didn't trade him, Jones. I said we're not doing it. I want to see how the board falls now. I mean, now that they've changed it, I mean, PFF has changed their whole big board, so now the whole draft board has changed. We got 7 trades here. I'm interested. Dan not selling the farm for one player like Scott did. Yeah, no. That's why I didn't do it. It doesn't make sense for sure. I wouldn't sell the farm. All right. I'm just giving the reason why I was giving you all those trades is because the most realistic trade is you giving 19 and 51 and a future first to move up to 5. Or 19, 83, 119 and a future first to go get him. Or you give Xavier Leggett 19 and a future first. It's a lot. But I just want to see how the board fell. So Fernando went 1, Caleb went 2, Bain 3, Love 4, Styles 5, Bailey 6, Tate 7. Saints took Averill Reese at 8. That would fucking suck if they got Averill Reese. Caleb Banks, that's an interesting. Him alongside Chris Jones would be probably absolutely filthy. Avian Terrell goes to pick 11. I don't get the Makai Lemon to the Bengals. That makes no sense. Francis to the Cowboys. Mansur Delane. Yeah, that makes sense because they definitely need corner help there. Okay, Tampa Bay taking Keldrick Falk. Yeah, they need edge rushing help. McCoy to the Jets. Okay. Akeem Messidor to Miami or to Detroit makes sense because they want to put somebody alongside Hutchinson. Jordan Tyson to the Vikings. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense or not because you got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. But PFF, you do your thing. I would look into trading back here. I mean, I bet you for that 22nd pick, 19, you can give me, you would have, let me see something here. I'd be interested in going back 3 spots. Let me see what we can work up here. Let me see what I can put together here real quick for you guys. Maybe we can get a mock draft in just for fun. This is not a true mock draft. I'm not doing my true mock drafts until after free agency. All right. All right, what do we got? I think the most. This is what I would ask, but I doubt they're going to give it to me. Oh shit! I mean, that's a fair trade because why this would work to me is you three spot drop inside the same tier. We still get a premium day 2 pick. Chargers move up for a specific target. I think this is extremely realistic. I think the other alternative you could have done 22 and 86. And then right here, I mean, shit. I mean, at this point, I'm taking Peter Woods. I mean, I'm taking the best player available. And then the next 3 picks. Yeah, I mean, it's either that or I'm taking Caden McDonald. Because if Monroe Freeling fell there, I would take Monroe, but he didn't fall. Who y'all taking here? Sound off in the chat real quick. I'm interested. Who you taking here and why? We traded back to get more draft capital. Who you taking here and why? Because I see Spencer Fano. I see Emmanuel McNear Warren. I got a one for Woods. Charlie says Peter Woods. Who else in the chat? Sound off. Woods replace Ashawn. Okay. So far, it's Woods. I'm still going to get a safety, Zach. Don't worry. I got my safety in mind. So we'll go with Peter Woods. DB needs a buddy. Well, he just got one. But now, here's the thing. We've got 51, 55, and 83. Are we going back-to-back linebackers? And how many edge rushers are we going? That's my question. Jeez, Max Eamon Hinkers right here. Fuck. And then Caleb. I mean, there's your left tackle. There's your left tackle right there. You got Dante Corleone. Derek Moore. I mean, fuck. I mean, what linebackers are available still? Gotta be some decent guys left, right? I mean, I know Jacob's still there. You got Josiah Trotter. You got Jacob Rodriguez. Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis at 94. Who could be at 119? Oh, Aiden Fisher. Could you fall? And then what edge rushers we got left? We got Romello. Dan Dennis, and we got Malachi Camaro. Okay. Sheesh. The Gamecock Club will be in touch, Clay. Revoking your cards, sir. You're saying take Omar Cooper right now? Take Max Ian Hanker. Offensive tackle we need. Malachi Lawrence if you're going edge. There's that. Where's Malachi Lawrence? Did he already go off the board? Okay, so I took him. Where's Malachi Lawrence? He hasn't even gone off the board. Where is he? Oh, he's 61. Okay. Let's take our left tackle here. I say we take our left tackle here. I say we go ahead and take Caleb Turnan. If you guys don't know him, look him up. I mean, it's a left tackle. You're going to need it. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with this pick. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with this pick. Just a 1. If you don't agree, put a 2. 1, you agree. 2, you disagree. 1, you agree. 2, you disagree. 1, if he's better than Max. Well, Max is a right tackle. I get that he who could make the transition, and I'm all ears for that, but I mean, Caleb, if you don't here, I'll give you a little side story of Caleb Tiernan because I know Caleb Tiernan. First off, he's 6'7", 325. 43 career starts, mostly at left tackle. 84.3 pass blocking grade, ranking 9th in the nation. Allowed 0 sacks in 8 of the 9 conference games he played. Great hand placement, great striking timing, natural anchor at the position. How he's able to identify stunts and blitzes. Wingspan is shorter than ideal. You could move him to right tackle or guard, but run blocking's got to be better. I will say that. It dropped. He can be stiff at times when moving laterally. He's actually more viewed as a high. He's actually viewed as a high floor prospect who could serve as a quality swing tackle or a starting caliber guard in his career. Kind of reminds me of like a Morgan Moses, if y'all know who that is. If you're a ball knower, you know who Morgan Moses is. So a lot of people got 1, so we'll go with Caleb. We'll go with Caleb. Damn, man. Fucking Eagles. Always trying to take my fucking pick. Fuck. God damn. Really? I literally was gonna like the past my first round pick and my second round pick just go off the board. You fucker. Okay. Where are we going here now? We got our defensive line. We got our left tackle. We going edge, or are we going line? What linebackers we got available? All right. So for me, it's between Derek Moore Let's double dip on tackles. Won't have to worry about Moten either. No, we ain't double dipping on tackles. Are we going Derek Moore? Or are we going Josiah Trotter? That's my question. I mean, if I'm going, I think it just depends because you get a high floor edge rusher with Derek Moore. I would say Derek Moore right now is the preferred choice. But if you're seeking a physical, old school Mike linebacker to ankle the run defense, Josiah Trotter offers that significant upside. All right, put a 1 in the chat for Trotter, or no, put a 1 in the chat for Derek Moore. Put a 2 in the chat for Josiah Trotter. 1 in the chat for Derek Moore. 2 in the chat for Josiah Trotter. We got a 1. We got a 2. Just React. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming. Justin React. Appreciate you coming in. Personally, not taking anyone from Michigan. Poppin says 2. Zach says 2. Charlie said 2. Justin has 1. All right. Speak now, but forever hold your peace in the chat. I'm going Josiah Trotter. I'm interested to see how this draft comes out. We're only doing 5 rounds. Trizzy even said 2. Okay. Everybody said 2. Does that mean we're going Jacob Rodriguez right here, chat? So we going back-to-back linebackers here? I'm assuming. I mean, yeah, I think so. Let's see what we got. Edge rusher wise. Yeah, I don't think it's even a question now, is it, chat? I don't even think it's a question where we're going now. Yeah, Jake, Jake Slaughter's a fucking stud at the center position. I don't care what anybody says. If you haven't done your homework on Jake Slaughter, please do it. All I'm gonna say is he's an absolute animal. Absolute animal. I'm not saying I'm picking him. I just calm down. And I mean, y'all know about this guy, right? The fucking absolute the fucking flow he's got going on back there. That guy just screams America without even saying anything. You can just look at him and be like, America. Yeah, I think we're all going Jacob Rodriguez here. I'm not even going to waste y'all's time, so we'll go ahead and get that out the way. So let's see where we're at right now, picks wise. Peter Woods, Caleb Tiernan, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Josiah Trotter and Jacob Rodriguez. So now we're going to 119. And I think we got to try to get an edge rusher here. But we'll see what's available. We'll see what's available. I think a lot of the guys that maybe I might have wanted is off the board. Would have been the other option. Yeah, I like Kyle Lewis a lot, to be honest with you. Damn, and there's my boy Bud Clark. Fuck. All right, let me look at the edge rusher room real quick. Damn. See, this is where I might try to. I might take Natum. I think he's the pick here. I mean, Pass rush run rate, 28.4%. Run defense, 93.3 pass rush. True pass run stopping rate. $14 sacks last year. Who else is here? Yeah, don't sleep on don't sleep on my New Mexico Lobos. Keyshawn James newbie. Oh wait, you said 14 sacks. Yes, I did. Is that Quintavious? Is that what's how you pronounce that? Quintavious Hutchins. George Gomes had a monster combine. He did. A lot of the Florida players had a good combine so far. I mean, the pick here just screams Nadame Tucker. It's either Nadame Tucker or it's Bud Clark. In my opinion. I'd say Bud Clark 1, Nadame Tucker 2. I'm going Nadame Tucker. I don't even know if I want to ask y'all to put it in the chat because Nadame is if y'all don't know who Nadame is, y'all need to do your homework. You just need to do your homework. 6'3", 250. MAC Defensive Player of the Year. I know he played in the MAC. But the thing is, it says 14. He had 14 and a half sacks, actually. Ran a 4.7 yesterday, by the way. Obviously has the production on the field. He had 21 and a half tackles for a loss last year. He led the nation in sacks and tackles for a loss last year. Just so you know. Got a great burst off the snap. Consistently beats offensive tackles. He had basically one average game. Every other game was good. Advanced hand fighting for a late bloomer. Well-timed swipes. Able to lower his pad level, flatten around the corner. He had 4 forced fumbles last year as well. And he also had a signature strip sack during the Senior Bowl, by the way. And none of you knew that. All right. He is a day 3 pick. The problem is he a scheme fit because he's mainly playing a 4-3 scheme. And we run a 3-4. I don't know if he's a scheme fit, but I'm hell with it. I'm going with it. Going with that pick. This is what we're looking at right now. We traded back. We got an extra second round pick. I would love to somehow in this draft, if Dan Morgan could pull off an extra second and an extra third in some type of trade somehow, I would love it. Well, everybody, Jalen Kilgore, welcome to the show. Drew Allard's right there as well. We're taking a quarterback at 56. I mean, Jalen Kilgore's right there, man. Jalen Kilgore can play safety, too. Rock Jones, Jalen Kilgore. Papa says take Drew. Zach says take Jalen Kilgore. I know, Rock, you have to respond, man. You sit here and give me shit about these other guys. You give me shit about the Clemson guys, but then when I land on the Gamecock, you're nowhere to be found. You are nowhere to be found, my friend. I don't appreciate that. He goes, there he goes. There he is. Goes, you better. All right, here we go. We'll take Jalen Kilgore. Oh, look at that. Back to back. We can go Drew Allard now. We got back to back picks because we had the 156 and 157. I forgot about that. It says he got Zach is saying anyone but Drew Allard. If I'm being for real, I would think about taking Pat Coogan here. If I'm being like legit here, I'm thinking about taking Pat Coogan. Pat Coogan's better than that. Is Jonah Coleman available? Jonah Coleman, I didn't see him. No. Bryce Lance, no. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of people coming out of North Dakota State ever, really. They always sound good. I wouldn't be able to handle hearing this fan base defend and praise Allard worse than Zach. Is there a reason why that is? Are you not a Penn State fan, my friend? Is that what it is? I'm also interested in Ted Hurst. The drop rate scares me, though. Everything else I love. Contested catch, yards per route run, the size, 6'3", 195. I was going to see what tight ends are available, but I don't see anything here. I mean, Charlie says, I like the Pat Coogan pick. You like the Mike Washington? Mike Washington, yeah. I'm not opposed. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go running back here. I mean, for shits and giggles, we were already messing with it. Might as well just take Drew Allard. Why not? Who cares? We're only doing a 5-rounder anyways. It's a fun draft. It's just for fun. But I do like the trade back. I like the idea of trading back. It just kind of gives me an idea. When I do these mock drafts like this is more of an idea mock draft, not really a legit mock draft. Like I said, I won't do legit mock drafts until after free agency because, again, I think it will give us a better idea of where we're at. I would have taken Coogan, but we were all having fun with it. I got an A- out of it. Peter Woods, they didn't like I took him, Caleb over Omar Cooper. I mean, you got a B+ for Josiah Trotter. You got an A- for Jacob. You got an A for Peter Woods. You got an B+ for Nadeem Tucker. You got a B- for Kilgore. You got a B+ for Drew Allard. So, A- overall, chat. Guys, I appreciate you. we've been live for over almost 2 hours. I'm going to go spend some time with misses, kick back, watch some Landman. Probably going to watch some Landman. I've got to catch up on my Daredevil show. And have some short coming out to you guys tomorrow. All right. And then but we'll get some I got more content coming out to you guys. So obviously I'll have some more combine content coming out for you guys as well. I'll give you my thoughts on the combine. Of course. Follow me on X, guys. By the way, I've been very active on X. Every time I see Jeremiah Trotter, or not Jeremiah Trotter, what's his name? Daniel Jeremiah posting the traits, the measurements of the guys. I'm reposting it and like putting my thoughts on it. So if you really want to hear my thoughts on some of these guys, make sure you follow me on X. Landman is a show on CBS. It's about oil and gas. It's about the oil rigs. So popping. Check it out. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in it. Great show. I just started it like a couple weeks ago. See you, Clay. See you, chat. See you, Zach. See you, Charlie. See you, Poppin. Everybody else, Amazing K, Rock Jones. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. And again, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. All right. Oh, shit. I didn't know it made fireworks. I was just trying to give a thumbs up. This is what I was trying to do. So please do that. Fireworks work as well. Other than that, appreciate you guys. Keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.